really kind of what I'm understanding from you is if it's not necessarily us trying to like convince a lot of the administration of things that we believe, or trying to not necessarily join the movement, but just to express the things that we believe are like important to us, and we're kind of sharing along the same lines. As far as maybe it would be more helpful to kind of come up with a kind of general statement of some kind, or collaborate either with the administration or separately and kind of pass around. I don't know if it ends up being just some kind of general statement that that any number of administrators can just sign, if it doesn't have to be like we all agree or we all disagree, or just something generally to kind of make that known, because I think to a lot of students that could be very beneficial for them to know, oh, well, 90% of the administration is on board, generally speaking, as far as they believe in the core values of this movement, or they believe in the rights of these students, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, those of you that know me know that I'm pretty cranky about something. I don't sign other people's stuff. I've sent you all stuff over the years, and so I don't hold my tongue or views, but I usually like to sign my own words. But I think that one thing that might be nice is to have a discussion with some of us sitting around like this with you, talking about these issues, and you can talk to people and see what they say. I really don't think that a lot of the stuff that we see, again, I can only speak for myself. I know what some of my colleagues think, but a lot of the stuff that we see going on in this country is appalling. And I think, for example, that my taxes should be higher. I'm not in the 1%, not even close, but I still think my taxes should be higher. If I could be assured that my taxes would go to support K-12 education and higher ed, cool. And my guess is that if you talk to other people in the leadership of the campus, you would not hear necessarily those views, but you'd hear a range of views, many of them overlapping with those that you have. So I don't think you got a core of people that are in the leadership of this campus. I can't speak for others, but the ones I know on this campus, I don't think you have a group of people that are in opposition to at least the core values and the core direction of this movement. I think, maybe you sit down and talk to people. I would love to be in a discussion with people, just sitting around talking about what do you think about this, what do you think about that? Because a student, I was watching you all earlier, we were talking, that student asked, well, what do you think is the real answer to this? And I'm a raging liberal, and I unloaded on him. So wouldn't it be nice to sit in and have a discussion about what do you think? Just talk about people. Now that's not institutional policy, but these are the people that are in the leadership of the institution. And I don't think there's any need to force a discussion, but just come out, have a, sit out in the sun and talk.
Dr. Young, would you ever be willing to come to People's Park in IV and sit with students and have that conversation next week?
Sure.
So this is like a commitment then?
Sure.
I think we should
Okay, and the
set
best
up.
way is to email your...
Yeah, just let me know to find a time when I can do it, but
Be good to get more
during the
people
day it's a little easier sometimes than...
We have food, by the way, there.
Well, I
Dinner with us. You
I
can eat with us.
haven't missed too many meals, so I'm not exactly...
Okay.
But yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to run through my head.
we should get as many people and have a formal thing on
But
campus.
depending upon when it
Multiple
is, I might be
student
able to
groups,
adjust time.
multiple members of
and I think
whoever
that,
he can get. I don't think so. I think it's
I
not
don't,
on
again, I
campus.
don't want to speak for anyone, certainly
sure.
not the chancellor, but I wouldn't mind, I don't
Yeah.
think there's
And get all the student groups involved. Be like, this is a chance to dialogue with the
I don't think
university.
there's any, I've not encountered any opposition to the notion of having the people speak out against the government. There are those of us that believe that this is absolutely critical in a free society. I don't have detected anything about people feeling general opposition to speaking out, questioning authority. We should question authority. Authority should not be accepted. And I'm an authority person, and it shouldn't be automatically assumed that I might actually be questioned. I don't want to, I don't want to have to deal with it all the time, right? But I don't have a problem with you questioning my decisions, and we can agree and disagree. And I think most of the people in the leadership of the campus feel that way, and so we can agree to disagree, and good people can talk about an issue and end up in different perspectives. But absolutely, I would love to talk. It's just a matter of finding a good time. But if we, particularly during the day, if we can find the time, I can try to move stuff around.
Great, thank you.
So, in Occupy as a whole, we have, well, and I say this as like a personal, I apologize, have a personal belief that it's primarily about dialogue. It's primarily about discussion, right? It's about opening up channels of discussion with everyone, with as many people as possible, right? Or Occupy tends to have the, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just...
My bad. No. Occupy tends to have the rallying cry of 99%, right? And we need to be able to have a good open discussion and dialogue. So my question would be, are you the best channel, I guess, to speak to the administration, or would there be some other channel to contact people who work here at the UC and try to talk to them, get them included in the discussion?
I don't know if I'm the best. I have to think about, look for Kevin, see if I'm the best. I don't know if I'm the best channel, but I'm a channel, and again, I don't mind asking people. I know people in my division, student affairs, would be willing to talk, but we're just one part of the leadership of the campus. There are other parts, and I don't particularly know the politics. We don't sit around discussing the politics in senior officer meetings and stuff, but I have a sense, and I think they're on a spectrum. But I think in an appropriate setting, I don't think people would mind sitting around and talking about the issues and talking about what's the impact of these issues on the university. So probably if you want an official formal channel, you probably need to go through probably Kevin McCauley, who's the assistant to the chancellor, or one of those officers. I'd be pleased to try to figure out who the precise best person is. But certainly I'm a channel to say, hey, the folks want to sit and talk about, we've never actually done that. I don't know if I've ever actually had that experience in my almost 22 years here. Well, we just sat around with a bunch of us and talked about all the stuff that was going on. What do we think about this and what do we think about it? Because, I've told people before, I remember out here, years and years and years ago, a Nexus reporter stuck her pad in my face and asked me what did I think about an election. And I told her it was none of her damn business. Because it was none of her business what she asked my personal view. So it wasn't any of her business what my personal view was. But so as vice chancellor, I don't have a personal view. Because I have to represent a lot of people, and at some level I have to do what is the right thing. Now, that right thing is colored by my personal view, but I would love to, many of us have never just sat around, except with, some students we might know, and just talk about stuff. And I think I can imagine some of us, certainly in student affairs, but I would imagine others, with the right setting, would be pleased to do that.
Did you have your hand up? You?
So I had a question. I don't know if this is like a silly question, but just kind of going off that idea. If you sat around with all the people in student affairs and all the people in the different kind of factions of the governing body of this university, and people did that across the UCs and came to realization that you were kind of suspecting, like maybe, the vast majority of the people who work here feel like, yeah, wait, our student fees are too high, or we need to be providing more of these services, or our funds could be allocated in this kind of different way. Is there on a real level, is there a way that the people could make the UC system a democratic process, and say, so like you and your coworkers decide like, hey, we want to change things within this system?
Yeah, I think a real, not the real answer, but one of the answers is no, in that, I can't even control all the stuff in my area. And I'm just, a little narrow slice of the administration. You have an academic senate that oversees academic matters. You have administrative stuff. You have regents. So you have all kind of people that influence decisions. So an honest answer is no. Another answer, though, is that there are an array of things each of us can influence in our areas of influence, and at least on the campus, the other campuses, I don't know how they operate, because I see stuff happening on some of them I don't get, so I don't want to speak to them. But on this campus, at least, I think we have the opportunity to sit with many of the people in leadership and talk about the issues, have them, ask them what do they think about this from their perspective of their work, and they'll tell you. And they'll tell you what they can and cannot do, and what's possible and what isn't possible. And I think you'll get an honest answer. You get a reflection of at least a part of the spectrum of the viewpoints of the people that are responsible for running the campus. Is sort of a hard. These places are like amoeba or something. So, but that oversee aspects of. But this whole issue. I mean, and a lot of the stuff that's going on with the UC, I still think we're focusing on the wrong people. Frankly, somebody needs to be talking to the legislature. Somebody needs to be. I mean, we've got people making decisions about the UC budget, and I used to be on the school board years and years ago in Connecticut when I was there, and so many of those decisions about what happens are made by people in the state government, and when you have people who aren't prepared to generate the revenues through taxation to support education, to support health care for all of the citizens, to support services for the disabled, and services for children. I mean, when you have people that aren't prepared to provide the fundamental supports that all people in our state, in my judgment, should have, then you got a problem. So these people aren't supporting K-12 education, they're not supporting higher education, and somebody then has to make a decision what they're going to do about that. Whether you agree with that or not, the Regents made a decision that, well, many of us agree, they made a decision that was what they think is what they need to do to resolve it. So, part of me is need to be going after the people who are making these judgments, because there are a lot of us that are, in my mind, it's never been a matter of being taxed. It's being a matter of what do you get for your taxes, and what are your tax dollars going to support. And I'm rambling, but I think there are people who would be willing to sit. I don't think, though, it's this place is the way it's set up. It's just hard to get it to change in any massive way. Even the Regents have trouble getting a lot of changes through, other than that broad reference. Yes.
So last night we sat in the same table during the Harvest Dinner, and it was a good event, and I was happy and whatnot. But one of the things that you made it not have known was that, excluding like little snacks and stuff, that was my first meal of the day.
Yeah.
And one thing is the financial issue, and then another thing is the time. I have to have 3 jobs to provide like enough, to survive and whatnot. And these are just like one of the issues that affect many students here. And I mean, this is a small group, so it's not that we're the only ones affected. I mean, more people are affected, but what I've been hearing a lot is that that they don't. Some people don't feel that